Okay, so determine the two values of x that satisfy the equation y is equal to x, equation derived in the first part. So the first one is y is equal to x, and the other one would be y is equal to 4x squared. So I'm going to show you two ways that you can solve this problem. So I'm going to call this equation 1 and call this equation 2. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to say, okay, y is equal to x. Therefore, for this one, x is equal to 4x squared. So since y is equal to x, then this y will just change to x. We have 4x squared minus x is equal to 1. So we're basically taking x from both sides. Now we have x open bracket 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. So we're like, yeah, what two values will satisfy this? So the first one is x is equal to 0 because these are basically two different factors, or if you want to put it like that. So we have x is equal to 0 and 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. 4x is equal to 1 and x is equal to a quarter. Another way that we could solve this, I don't want to take everything off of the board, so I'm just going to try and put it over this side. Yeah, I'm going to put it over this side. So what if we wanted to do it the other way? Instead of saying, okay, y is equal to 4x squared and then putting equation 1 into equation 2, we could have put equation 2 into equation 1. That shows it doesn't matter. So we have equation 1, sorry for my handwriting, and we want to put equation 2 into equation 1. So it says y is equal to 4x squared. So y is equal to this. We're going to take this and we're going to put it into that y. So 4x squared is equal to x. 4x squared minus x is equal to 0. See? It all adds up, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so for this question, the first thing that we have to do is that we have to take out the constants. So we have 3 times 4 in bracket, then we have p squared p cubed, right? We know that 3 times 4 is equal to 12. And that when we have the law, if we remember the laws of indices, when the bases are the same or the constants are the same, so if you had x to the n times x to the m, then you would have x to the n plus m. So in that case, we just have p to the 5th power. This is only because both of them are p's. If one was, say, for example, q, we couldn't do that. But since the question is talking about p, then we will, this is just the final answer. Okay, so this question is a little bit more complicated than the previous one, but all the indices rules remain the same. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to say, okay, so to divide by a fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal. So therefore we'll have 3x over 4y cubed multiplied by 20y squared over 21x squared. So we're saying, okay, what do we do next? So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to go through and we're going to cancel out some of these x's and y's. So just at a glance, we have y cubed here and then we have y squared. So we can cancel this and then we'll just have y to the 1 or just y. Right here we have x to the 1st power and x to the 2nd power, so this one will be cancelled and then this will just be x, or if you want to have x to the 1st power, if that's how you remember it. That's not necessary though, but some people remember things differently. Then we're going to look and we're going to say, oh, 3 times 7 is equal to 21. So 21 divided by 3 is equal to 7. So this 3 would cancel and we'd have 7. 4 times 5 is equal to 20. Therefore 20 over 4 is going to be equal to 5. See, it wasn't that hard. So don't get intimidated. Just work with the principles that you do know and try to find out what you don't know. So therefore, the final answer would be this 5 over 7 x y, because remember we have the single x here and then we have 1y here, so that's the final answer. Okay, so for this next question we are asked to solve an equation that is 3 over 7x minus 1 plus 1 over x is equal to 0. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to put this all into one fraction. So we need to find the LCM. The LCM would just be x, 7x minus 1. Okay, so then we're going to look at this one first, and we're going to say, okay, 7x minus 1 into this is just going to leave x. So we're going to have 3x plus x into this is going to be 7x minus 1 multiplied by the 1. So therefore, up top, we're just going to have 7x minus 1. Remember your brackets. In this case, the brackets wouldn't be necessary because it's a plus sign, but what if it was a minus? That would be a simple mistake that could be avoided. Okay, now, so just at a glance, we can say, alright, so all of this is equal to 0. 0 is basically 0 over 1 if you want to look at it that way. So basically, cross multiplying, we're just going to have 3x plus 7x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then we'll have 10x minus 1 is equal to 0. 10x is equal to 1. X is equal to 1 over 10. Okay, so for this question, we're told that when a number x is multiplied by 2, so we're given this x and then we say, alright, it's multiplied by 2. The result is squared. That means that everything is squared to give a new number, y. So we're being asked to express y in terms of x. So y would just be equal to this, which is equal to 4x squared. Because it would be 2 squared and then x squared. So that's 4x squared. So this is the answer. So for this question, we're told that the quantity P varies inversely as the square of V. Using letters P, V, and K, form an equation connecting the quantities P and V. Now we'll just have P is equal to K over V squared. Okay, so given that V is equal to 3, when P is equal to 4, determine the positive value of V when P is equal to 1. So we use the first part. We know that V is equal to 3 when P is equal to 4. So using that part, we know that 4 is equal to K over 3 squared. 4 is equal to K over 9. Therefore, K is equal to 36. That's great. So we have a value for that constant. So the equation now becomes P is equal to 36 over V squared. So we want the positive value of V when P is equal to 1. So when P is equal to 1, we have 36 over V squared. Right? So this is V squared is equal to 36. V is equal to plus or minus the square root of 36. So it's equal to plus or minus 6. And it wants a positive value, so therefore the answer will just be 6.